Who really was Moses? The Bible paints him as a prophet, a leader who delivered the Israelites from Egyptian slavery, parted the Red Sea, and received the Ten Commandments directly from God. But outside the sacred texts, evidence of Moses' existence is as elusive as a shadow. No Egyptian records mention him or the dramatic exodus he led. This absence of evidence raises hard questions. Was Moses a real historical figure, or is he a myth, a literary creation embodying the ideals and struggles of the people who revered him? These questions challenge the foundation of billions of people's beliefs. As we dig deeper, we confront the power of stories to shape our understanding of history and ourselves. The truth about Moses is a journey into the heart of what it means to believe. When we dive into the past, searching for clues about famous figures, Moses stands out as a puzzle wrapped in mystery. Despite being a cornerstone of religious teachings, with epic tales of leading the Israelites out of Egypt and receiving the Ten Commandments, the historical evidence for Moses is surprisingly thin on the ground. Archaeologists have scoured the ancient lands, digging through layers of history, hoping to find any trace of Moses or the mass exodus he's said to have led. Yet, despite these efforts, solid proof remains elusive. This absence is striking, especially considering the detailed records kept by ancient civilizations like the Egyptians. They documented their defeats, their victories, and significant events under the rule of their pharaohs in exquisite detail on temple walls and papyrus scrolls. However, their extensive archives have no mention of Moses or the plagues that supposedly devastated their land. The silence from Egyptian records raises eyebrows. Given their penchant for documentation, the lack of any reference to a figure as pivotal as Moses is telling. This discrepancy is a glaring gap in the historical record. Furthermore, the story of Moses, as presented in religious texts, bears a remarkable resemblance to hero myths from various cultures. These narratives often feature a character with humble beginnings, facing great challenges, and achieving nearly impossible feats. This pattern is not unique to Moses. It's a common template found in stories from cultures around the globe. The universal nature of this hero's journey suggests that Moses' story, too, might be more myth than history. In exploring the origins of such myths, we find that storytelling has always been a fundamental part of human culture. Before the written word, oral traditions were the mainstay of cultural transmission. Stories were passed down through generations, with each retelling potentially adding embellishments. This process could transform a historical figure into a legend. If Moses was a real person, perhaps a leader or a prophet, his deeds might have been magnified over time, turning him into the larger-than-life figure we know today. The absence of archaeological evidence and the mythic patterns evident in Moses' story lead to a compelling conclusion. The Moses we know from religious texts may not have been a historical figure in the way we understand history today. Instead, he may represent an amalgamation of multiple leaders, heroes, or prophets, embellished and elevated to serve broader cultural and religious purposes. At the heart of every myth lies a kernel of truth, a real person, event, or phenomenon that serves as the myth's foundation. In the case of Moses, this could have been an actual leader or a series of leaders whose actions and decisions were crucial to the survival and identity of their people. Over time, the stories told about these figures would have been shaped by the needs and values of the community, gradually elevating their protagonist to a status beyond mere mortality. The process of mythologization serves several key functions within a society. It provides a shared history that unites a community, offering examples of virtues to emulate and warnings of vices to avoid. Through the figure of Moses, themes of freedom, faith, and leadership are explored, providing a moral and ethical compass for the community. The miraculous events attributed to Moses, the parting of the Red Sea, the plagues of Egypt, receiving the Ten Commandments, while lacking archaeological evidence, are imbued with symbolic meaning, reinforcing the covenant between the divine and the people. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, introduce the concept of the collective unconscious, a part of the human psyche containing the inherited experiences of all humanity. The story of Moses, with its elements of heroism, exile, revelation, and redemption, taps into these deep, universal archetypes, resonating on a profound emotional and spiritual level with individuals across different cultures and epochs. The narrative of Moses is a tool, crafted and used by generations for purposes far beyond simple storytelling. This narrative, central to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, has served multiple functions throughout history, influencing laws, shaping cultures, and guiding moral and ethical conduct on a massive scale. To grasp the full impact of the Moses narrative, we must look at its roles in society, governance, and personal identity. Firstly, the Moses story has been a foundational pillar for legal systems and ethical standards. The Ten Commandments, received by Moses on Mount Sinai, form the basis of moral law in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. These commandments extend beyond religious mandates, influencing secular laws and principles that govern societies worldwide. By presenting these laws as divinely given to Moses, the narrative lends them an authority that commands respect and obedience, integrating religious faith with social order. Secondly, the Moses narrative has played a crucial role in shaping cultural identity. For the Jewish people, the Exodus story is a defining moment, marking the birth of their nation and their covenant with God. This story, retold during Passover, isn't just a historical recount. It's a reaffirmation of faith, identity, and resilience. Similarly, Christian and Islamic traditions have embraced Moses as a prophet, integrating his teachings into their own religious narratives and using his example to guide the faithful. The utility of the Moses narrative also extends into the realm of personal development and spirituality. The challenges Moses faces, his direct encounters with the divine, and his leadership despite personal doubt, offer rich material for contemplation and moral growth. These stories encourage believers to wrestle with questions of faith, duty, and redemption, fostering a deeper, more personal engagement with their spiritual traditions. The tales of Moses, steeped in ancient texts and echoed across millennia, challenge us to question the foundations of our beliefs and the narratives that shape our world. Yet, the absence of concrete evidence and the complex nature of myths invite us to reflect deeper on the power of stories to inspire, guide, and unite us. How do we reconcile these grand tales with the silence of history? What does our fascination with Moses tell us about our own search for meaning, identity, and connection? As you ponder these questions, remember that the story of Moses, whether myth or history, continues to hold a mirror to humanity's eternal quest for understanding and belief.